Something, something, 1, 2.
That's definitely
Gonna hug you tight, then kiss your knees. That's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
My knees?
I remember that.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
No denying, that's how it goes.
Yeah, no. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm alright. I'm a bit tired. It's been a very busy week for myself.
And hot.
And it's been hot and
Yeah, it's a lot nicer today though.
It's been always a lot
Oh,
nicer
yes.
today.
It was cool enough so that you didn't sweat for literally every second of the day.
Like I could actually wear clothes and feel comfortable. The last week I've been in underwear because if I wore literally the lightest clothing I own, I would just sweat profusely and constantly. So
Yep.
that's been my life.
Yeah.
It's been a very exhausting week. I picked up the keys to my new house.
Woo!
Which is exciting. And then today I picked up the keys to my new car, which is a very manly, big SUV vehicle. But
The casual podcast is paying off.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Thank you, all of our 10 followers.
11 now, 11
Ooh.
subscribers.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you make a fourth account?
Yeah.
I think it was actually my third. It definitely was me.
Oh, we're terrible.
Oh, so here we are.
Yeah, hi, welcome back to the PALcast.
Underprepared and overcompensating. It's the PALcast.
Woohoo! Welcome back.
We've got myself, and I'm Ed.
I'm Ethan.
And I am Aaron, and it's lovely to have you all here this
Same
evening.
good old boys as last week.
Yeah.
Your new
Sweaty
favourite boys.
boys.
Get amongst us.
Hells yeah.
So we're gonna be taking a step back. Initially, if you watched the first PALcast, you would have noticed it's very, very visual, very casual, terrible audio. I probably wouldn't recommend watching it. But recently,
But if you have seen it,
you will know that we started with a very relaxed candor. Now we are moving away from our second format, which was a very news and crisp focus. We're going to try and find a happy medium, the just right, the Goldilocks, as it were.
Because to be completely honest, I feel like there's new stuff out there and they do it better than us. And
Exactly.
none of us are like top of the world gamers. I feel like if you're listening to this, it's more
I'm
because of
pretty
our
good.
charming personalities.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty good.
Cage match. Throw down.
No, I 100% agree. We are trashed here in every sense of the word.
Your favourite trash boys.
You!
And we're coming at you with some more spicy news regardless.
Fresh out the dumpster fire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. Don't stop listening yet. There's more to come.
We've got some interesting developments in esports news this week. Overwatch League's first season premier playoffs, I think they call it, has wrapped up, and London Spitfire, I believe, reverse swept it to win.
Ooh.
Apparently it's an upset. Check the games out. Tell me if they're good because I haven't watched them yet. And also with season 2, I guess, coming around the corner, we've got a few teams looking to trade players and yada yada. Some teams bringing other players over. We've got 4 Korean players are going for Shanghai Dragons, ironically.
Which is odd, because last time I checked, Shanghai is nowhere near Korea.
No, it's definitely not in Korea.
I mean, closer to Korea than, say, Dallas.
Yeah, fair enough.
True.
Yeah.
True. But we've got 4 players coming in for them. One of them, Giguri, Kim Seon, the first woman to join the Overwatch League, which is but very exciting.
Sisters are doing it for themselves.
Nailed it. No rehearsal. Could you tell?
0 rehearsal.
No rehearsal. Throwback.
But no, seriously, good on to Miss Giguri for making it, and hopefully inspiring other females to pursue their esports dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Gaming has always been an all-inclusive sport, in my opinion. You know, as toxic as some people make it, I honestly think that, you know, gaming as a whole, anyone could do it, and why not? As long as you're having fun doing a thing, keep doing that thing.
Exactly.
Well said.
Yeah.
However,
but sure.
these 4 Korean players are unfortunately having some visa issues making it difficult for them to come over for the start of season 2, but they're expected to have it all processed and to be in the States by around halfway through the second split season, whatever you'd call it. But keeping with the female empowerment in esports, you may or may not have heard about Sasha Hostin, aka Scarlet, a Zerg player in StarCraft 2 for Team Expert. She recently made StarCraft history at IAM Pyeongchang in... where is Pyeongchang? Do you guys know?
Korea.
Yeah. It's
Current home of the Winter Olympics.
Yep.
That's why I know that. Well, IAM was also recently there. And Scarlet beat two-time world champion SOS, which is fucking incredible.
Wow.
I think probably the first time that's happened. And last night she chalked up some more wins against some of the other best in the world, Zest, Innovation, and yeah, she's the first female StarCraft 2 player to make it to the Global StarCraft League round of 8 quarterfinals. So
yes, go Scarlet.
Go Scarlet. I'm all for that, and not to make it about her looks, but she's an attractive and marketable Canadian female, and she's looks like 21.
Yeah, I'd say that about. Yeah.
So good on her, and I hope she sees a long and prosperous career ahead of her.
Absolutely.
I mean, also the 5th only foreigner to make it to this level of the competition.
Yeah, like gender aside, if we just look at it in esports history, there's always been a joke, the Korean overlords, because they've always just been the best at video games. Not that I have any issue with it, fair game, but a lot of the Overwatch League, I'm fairly sure there's quite a representation from Korean individuals. But regardless, she has been touted as, if not going to become the best StarCraft 2 player ever, she's definitely the best non-Korean StarCraft player to ever exist, which I think is incredible and good on her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope she goes on to see great success and inspires a lot of other young girls to pursue their esports dreams as well. So cheers to that.
Would you say that perhaps sisters
are doing it for themselves?
Yes.
Nice.
Fucking nailed it.
Please don't take that apathy for lack of sincerity.
No, 100%. We're just incredibly tired boys.
Yeah.
It's just the current level of energy in this room.
And Sasha Hostin, aka Scarlet, if on the slimmest chance you hear this, good on you. Props to you. From us here at the PALcast. Exactly that, yeah.
I just toasted myself a little. Apologies.
Hooray.
I had my vape set to 40 watts and I'm normally...
Vape Nation.
Well, that's why I'm actually vaping, to stop coughing like that in the morning, actually.
Oh.
And it's been helping quite a lot. But I normally smoke it at 28 watts. It's a happy medium where I can toke on it comfortably. And for some reason, it skyrocketed up to 40 watts. So it was just like, hoo-yah! And just Hadoukened me in the back of the throat. But yeah, that's
demanding that you blow fatter clouds, bruh.
Yeah, I'm just not ready for the fatness of the clouds.
Where
that
can
it
I
asks
rip
of
the
me.
fattest vape?
Where can you?
Yeah.
I will. When I went to Birmingham, I went to the vape convention, and I'm talking couple thousand people in a warehouse with all these different. It's like a full on vape convention. I'd say that in the trick room there is where you rip clouds. There was literally a trick room, and it was sick.
Yes.
You walked in, it's just rad. And
did anyone pull off a chest bump? That's what I want to know.
I wasn't explicitly looking for chest bumps, but I'm sure someone did.
Excellent.
I'm sure someone did.
Excellent.
But yeah, what's new in your guys' world? What have you been up to?
And I've been playing a bit of Shadow of the Colossus. I'm moving on to the time trials, right?
Ooh.
But I had something happen to me today that made me empathize quite heavily with these poor Colossuses in my regular life.
Colossi? Colossus?
Colossi. I stand corrected.
Sorry.
No, I was I was running late for work today, right? But I stunk like a pile of dead bodies, so I needed to have a shower. So I get into the bathroom, ready to have my shower, and sitting on the wall, literally staring at where I would be standing if I was in the shower, is just like the world's biggest fuck off grasshopper. So like I'm in a bit of a hurry. I don't really have time to deal with this grasshopper, but at the same time, it makes me unbelievably comfortable that it can go from not moving to moving really, really fast. And me being in a shower naked, like
Jump.
just cannot move really, really fast. So my solution to this problem was to throw towels at the grasshopper. So I was like, there's this pile of like
Just
six towels on the floor with a grasshopper somewhere in them that someone else is gonna have to deal with. So like, I throw a towel, I get it to the ground or it's atop this pile of towels, and then like put a bath mat on top of it. The beast is sealed. So comfortably have my shower, knowing that this grasshopper's not gonna bother me.
Yes,
but
excellent.
I absolutely get like why, as a gigantic being, fighting a small, fast-moving being is like a problem.
Yeah, it's just like...
Just kind of lumbering around.
So when they're like taking the big like swings and going, and you're like rolling around, and I get it. It's awful, man.
Boy. Yeah. No, I feel that.
As a slow lumbering human, as in general, that whole story just spoke to me so much. I've tried to slay some winged combatants before, and to not much avail.
No.
Ethan, what's new with you?
Not too much. There's, as always, I'm a cheapskate, so the free games on Xbox Live have been absolutely magical this week, or this month rather. Crazy Taxi was less than a gigabyte, and it was free, and I snap downloaded that bad boy.
Hey, come on over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi.
And I played some Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi.
Ready, set, go.
Oh yeah, gonna get you some Slim Jims. Imagine.
Oh, snap into a Slim Jim, yeah!
Imagine if he was a passenger on Crazy Taxi.
That's the announcer.
Randy Savage.
Is he the announcer?
I don't know if it's Randy
Snap
Savage.
into a Slim Jim is Randy.
Yeah, that's definitely Randy Savage.
Ooh, cream of the crop.
Imagine if Randy Savage was a passenger in Crazy Taxi.
Well,
I wouldn't put it past
I'm gonna
him,
continue like in this massive tangent that we're going on. Have you guys seen the Skyrim mod? The Randy Savage Skyrim mod?
I have, yes.
Where he like flies around, like all the dragons have Randy Savage sunglasses and hat on, and all of their shouts are Randy Savage quotes. So it's like you hear like snap into a Slim Jim, yeah, boom.
I've been to the top of the mountain. What in oblivion is that?
Sentries. What do you see?
It's in the clouds. Yeah!
My particular favorite mod, I think we've talked about before, there is the Home Improvement Tim Allen sound
On Doom.
No,
it is,
well, I think it's on
It's on
Morrowind.
Morrowind.
Oh, really?
The specific one, yeah.
Every single sound effect.
Oh, this Doom mod takes it
Every
one step
texture
further.
is Nick
Every single
Cage?
every single texture is Tim Allen.
Oh, excellent! I've seen every
Every
texture
single
is Nick
noise
Cage in
is
Skyrim.
oh.
Oh, that's
So
hilarious.
every like step you take is
Yeah.
You fire your machine gun. It's
yeah.
It's like, are you watching Seal videos in that?
to make this shit.
Same with the Morrowind one, because like every giant footstep. Finally swinging the club. When it makes impact. Like, brilliant.
Ethan, is there any community news that's pressing or interesting to you?
Well, yeah, actually, there's a huge community behind a System Shock reboot.
I never played it, but I heard people adored System Shock when they were
Yeah,
kids.
and probably rightly so. Like, I think it was the precursor to BioShock. I'm pretty sure it was.
Absolutely was,
Yeah.
yes.
So, fuck yes, that would be amazing. A lot of people got behind it. There was a Kickstarter around a few months ago, and it raised $1.35 million by nearly 22,000 backers.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so that's all gone to Night Dive Studios. But in a recent statement from the Night Dive CEO, Stephen Kick, he wrote, "I have to put the team on a hiatus while we reassess our path so that we can return to our vision. We are taking a break, but not ending the project. System Shock is going to be completed and all of our promises fulfilled." To me, that sounds like someone's about to skip the country. Like, he's like, guys, trust me. Is everything in the offshore bank account? Yeah, no, it's definitely going to happen. Guys, we good to go to the Caymans? All right, let's go, yeah. Yeah, it's still happening. Trust me, everything's fine. All our promises kept.
I have to counter your cynicism, which I totally subscribe with. I think that's but I have to counter it with some positivity and hope that they will pay forward and 100% in on their promises with interest, I would hope, because of the delay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no. I could also very much see someone just piecing out. But if that was the case, it would reaffirm and be the final nail in the coffin. That is me and Kickstarter.
What's the Simpsons quote? And I certainly shouldn't have said it was illegal. It's too hot today.
An anonymous source said that a mission creep and unrealistic ambitions had eaten up the Kickstarter funds, which was something Night Dive largely confirmed.
So they basically like went ballistic, knowing they had lots of money, and then like realized they were going to run out of money. So like, let's take a step back take another run at this.
Yeah, Night Dive isn't laying off any full-time staff, but around 15 contract workers have been laid off. Essentially,
moved on.
So it's kind of a typical, I guess, Kickstarter thing where you get a whole bunch of money and then all of a sudden you use it too quickly, have too many cocaine stripper parties, and then
I believe them. Like I
believe that there would have been
stripper parties.
Yeah, I would have believed that there would have been a cocaine.
Absolutely.
At least one.
You gotta have one.
least one. You break $1 million on a Kickstarter, you're definitely doing some rails off of some stripper titties. Like I would be personally.
Night Dive CEO Steve Kick said maybe 18 to 24 months when pressed on a timeline for System Shock. So
I mean, that's a reasonable cycle. Like a dev cycle in a game is 2 to 3 years anyways. People just aren't getting it. They're probably just slowing it down, doing it, and getting people to do more work over a longer period of time, which is better because it keeps people employed for longer, providing they get paid.
You might have heard me get a bit more slobbery. I'm kind of cuddling with.
We made the clear now to us mistake of letting a giant dog into the room.
He's very happy to see Ed and Ethan.
He's very cuddly.
He's a very cuddly
cute,
boy.
But he also breathes.
You're gonna
just
hear,
like that.
You're gonna hear some doggoness for a little bit.
They're used to the
heavy breathing.
Yeah, they're used to the
Am
white.
I really that unfair?
The white noise of which is, I'd assume, me just going.
Jesus.
I had to walk from my car to here. Oh boy.
All right. But yeah, so that's kind of like, I guess, the most scandalous news I got for you.
Yeah.
Some more. Hang on.
Widget.
All right. Hang on, buddy. That's a bit too much. Come on.
I'm gonna have to take you upstairs for a bit.
Oh. We're just gonna pause this back a few seconds ago.
Or maybe we'll leave it in.
You know what? I don't really know.
But we'll probably leave it in.
'Cause it's kind of funny anyways. Aaron is gone. He ain't coming back. There's just the two of us now. And we're back on track. Oh, wait. Here it comes. Shit.
Ethan said you were gay while you were gone.
I did, and I wanted to kiss you.
I mean,
not in no actual homosexual way, in the way that was in like meant to be different from that, in like entirely in the way that was meant to be insulting.
Yeah, that one.
So he was trying to kiss me insultingly.
Well,
Yes.
it's like
Mwah.
no, it's like that.
That's what
it's
I
like
like.
that South Park gag, right? You can be a faggot and not be gay.
Oh yeah, you're only gay once you suck a dick.
Yeah.
So you can take as many dicks as you want up your ass, It's only when you suck a dick that you turn gay.
Well, no,
if you're really concerned.
I think the
about
gimmick
that.
behind the South Park gag is that they call someone a faggot and they get in trouble because because everyone thinks they're being really derogatory. It's like, no, you can be a faggot and not be gay.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's just an insult.
Yeah.
It's an
Right,
insult
yeah.
separate to being
Yeah,
gay.
it's like the
Yeah.
basketball thing where it's like, someone could be a bitch and it's not a derogatory thing towards a female or anything like that.
They're just being a bitch.
They're just being a bitch. Exactly. Yeah.
We've got like so many other synonyms in the English language, yet the derogatory ones with other groups of people that have similar meanings we get caught up on. Like, there's tons of comedians. Louis C.K. has done a bit on like stop being a faggot and suck that dick. Like that's a great bit by Louis C.K. If you haven't seen it, it's on one of his Netflix specials. You'll be able to find it. I
mean, a little creepy now, but
yeah.
I can't watch Kevin Spacey stuff anymore.
No, I can't either. Well, I definitely look at it a different way.
Yeah, I'm like, I really want to get into House of Cards, but I'm just like,
Well, it's interesting. Like, a whole bunch of people are trying to get ahead of that now, and like basically come out on their own and say like, look, like I did some shit and I'm sorry. Like, for example, Dan Harmon
really
came out for one of his writers on I think like around season 3 or 4 of Community. Mm-hmm. Like, apparently he was being inappropriate, and he came out on his podcast, like, or on Harmontown, and said, like, basically qualified his statement, like, I am not doing this to excuse any of the things I did. I feel deeply sorry for them now, but I feel a need to like come out and be open about this because it's the way to approach it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And I mean, if we truly want change on that situation, it needs to be accepted, not exempted, but accepted by the public, in the sense like, all right, fair enough, you did that. If you're going to deal with the consequences, and just leave it at that. Like, if people desperately want to change, having the guilt of previous actions on their mind will cause them so much more pain and grief in unimaginable ways in general. But if they have the place to be able to come out and say, hey, I fucked up, I'm looking to be rehabilitated, if it's a severe enough mental situation or reoccurring situation, and if people come out going, oh nah, you're a bad person, or they get shamed or anything like that by any particular group in any particular matter, it's only going to make them spiral worse and make other people who are contemplating talking about it definitely not talk about it. So there needs to be open discourse from both sides of the conversation, the victims and the perpetrators, I guess, if we were to look at it like that. Both need to be able to say, I said this, because women feel they can say that they've been attacked, and men be able to say, men or offenders, more commonly men, need to be able to say, I fucked up as well. Like, there needs to be ebb and flow to the situation. I truly do feel
it's a very grey area.
It's a case. It's like a problem that can't be like beaten by attacking it with hate, right?
No,
it needs to be.
That's a much better way.
It needs to be a learning experience.
Yeah, like,
this is what people were like, and we know now that it was fucking awful.
Yeah,
let's work to improve on that in the future.
Absolutely, yeah,
exactly.
100%.
Because, anyways, that's enough of that.
PALcast comedy podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, comedy.
No,
Comedy. Aaron, stop it. Aaron, no. Stop touching me like that. That's my no spot.
Really?
Edward, show us on the doll where he touched you.
Here and here.
I liked it here, but not so much here.
Oh my god! After what we were just talking about, holy shit!
Yes.
Jumping into something else completely different. Ed, have you got any development news that you?
It's been a slow week, dude. We've got Metal Gear Survive coming out tomorrow.
Can I just be the first to say,
yeah.
I've been apathetic towards it for a while.
Oh, Koji senpai, come back.
Hinde. Kojima.
oh my god, that sound bar. What the fuck? That is a wall of sound.
I don't care, because Death Stranding's coming. TM asterisk maybe. If that does stand up to what it is in my mind, then it doesn't matter.
Look,
this pile of filth is going to be.
The general consensus on this game is that it's actually like as what it is, a like zombie survival sort of game in third person, that like same sort of play style of Metal Gear games. Mm-hmm. For what it is, it's actually a pretty good game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not a Metal Gear game, and it doesn't need that title in front of it.
It's like the whole Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
It's not canon.
Yeah.
It's not like it misses that Koji charm, right? Like in Metal Gear Solid 5, there was a side mission which was going back and playing the first mission where you break into an enemy camp and save like Cars, which is one of your characters, one of like your player character's best friends.
Cars.
Yeah.
I thought you were like
Literal
saving
cars.
actual
No,
cars.
Cars.
Okay.
K-A-Z.
Oh, okay.
And towards the end game, there's a side mission where you go
I mean, I've
and
played
do the
Metal Gear.
same. You do the same mission, but you save literally Kojima, and you have the same cutscene with Kojima.
I've heard about this. Yeah,
It's amazing. Like those are the touches that make Metal Gear games fun. They're not like they can't take themselves too seriously. They're meant to be silly
yeah, and
and off the wall and like crazy bullshit happening and whatnot.
in the same opposite side of the same coin, rather. Other franchises like Transformers, I didn't necessarily like all of the films that came from it. Did it make me less like old Transformers less and what Transformers are? No, not at all. And people shouldn't let this new game having the tag Metal Gear let it ruin A, the Metal Gear games they've already enjoyed, and B, what objectively could be a good game. It's just, if you hate a game because of its title and you don't actually play it, then that's kind of moot point. It's kind of like Devil May Cry, the remake, DMC. If that was completely rebranded as something else, it would still objectively be a fantastic game, mechanically, visually, sonically. Like, everything about it would still be good, but people flame on it and hate on it because it's not original Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Yep. So that game's coming out. Play it, I guess.
Yeah, or don't.
Like, I'm sure you can sense
whatever.
my apathy
I mean,
towards it in
yeah.
my voice. Like, fuck you, I guess. What do you want from me?
So funny story today. What happened? I was putting the new mats in my car that I just got, and I kind of glanced and I said, this guy kind of stumble. Would have been younger than me. Couldn't have been older than 21 years old. And he just stumbles, and I'm just like, okay. I glance over and he goes, boom, and just collapses in the middle of the road outside my driveway. I'm just like, holy shit, dude. And he got up straight away. It wasn't unconscious for any period of time. He just kind of...
Sorry.
No, it's all good. We can cut that out easily.
Nah, that's fine.
We can... so yeah, he just collapsed for a second and was just like super dizzy. I'm like, bro, are you all right? And he's just like, yeah. I'm just like, come and get a glass of water. And so I go and get a glass of water for him quickly. He sits there and drinks it. And I'm like, oh, what happened, mate? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? And after the water, he was already doing so much better. But he was just like, oh, mate. I'm walking that way. I've been walking for like 5 kilometers in like 90-degree heat, long jeans and a black hoodie.
What the fuck?
And he'd been drinking heavily already as
Oh,
well.
geez.
So he was wasted, dehydrated, blah, blah, blah. Had the
Jesus
drink
Christ.
and just collapsed in front of me. It was fucking nuts. And then he just finished the water. He was like, oh, I feel much better. Thanks, mate. And just carried on. I'm like,
What's his story?
I want to know his story. Yeah, I want to know if he got home all right. So, dude, if you collapsed in an area today in the Gold Coast and you remember that sort of conversation, comment and let us know you're okay.
Like, I try my very best to be a good person in those kinds of interactions, but I don't think I'm a good person. Like I was in a very similar scenario where I was in like a parking lot, like getting in my car, going like driving home from the shops, and this just the most like strung out from alcohol human being I've ever seen in my entire life just kind of like stumbles up and goes like, "Hey man, it's my birthday and I could just really use a lift right now." And I was straight up honest with him. I'm like, "Sorry, dude, I'm not in the business of giving like strangers that walk up to me a lift, right?" Like,
Yeah.
who fucking knows what could happen next? He's like, "Oh, okay." Now here's the bit that made me feel shitty. 10 minutes later, As I pull into the street in which my house resides, I see this guy walk by.
Oh my god, that is so
It was
funny.
like, I guess you just really needed a lift, huh?
Oh, what did you give the poor bloke a beer or something? Like,
I was home at that point. It's like, that part of my day is gone. It's fine.
Wow, that is so
that's-
funny.
That's
I mean, like, valid on your part,
Yeah.
because, you don't just give randos lifts, but that's
Oh,
so
it's just
funny.
quite easy. Like, yep, there he is.
There he is.
Did he notice you?
Oh, no.
Oh, thank God.
No, it was like,
I thought he like fully made eye contact with you. I was terrified.
Have you ever-
Oh, no.
have you ever pressed the stealth button in a car in GTA?
Yeah, and duck down.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
Headlights off.
I know
Like,
exactly. Yeah. You're hiding from a cop. You just quickly pulled up, turn the radio off, turn the engine off, lights off. Yeah.
so
I would
maybe
do
it
the
was
same.
his birthday and maybe he just needed a lift.
When you've been either really hungover or probably really drunk the night before, has anyone just given you like an unexpected act of kindness that has just made like your evening?
Yeah, the cops did.
Oh God, I don't think we need to tell that story.
Probably not, but
Maybe later. But the cops have. Not all cops are bad people.
not all, no. Don't power trip cops, and you'll be 100% better received.
Yeah.
Just easy tip for those
Yeah.
those cops who still haven't graduated high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Because cops are definitely formed in high school.
Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Going into a little bit more community news.
Oh yeah, go ahead. man.
So the gaming has been brought back into courts recently.
It has.
Now, quick sidebar as well. Thoughts and all the support in the world to all the people who recently got killed in Florida, over in the US at the school shooting. Again, I don't know the name of the guy who did it, and he doesn't deserve any more notoriety from me or anybody else.
They should really ban schools, huh?
Yeah, schools, man,
need to
how
be banned.
dangerous.
You can scrape your knee there, man. It's just too dangerous.
Well, it's just
absolutely.
it's just one of those things. Like 100% of mass school shootings occur at schools.
It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
ban schools.
That's true.
Ban schools.
Schools
So
need to be
ban-
banned.
Yep.
Ban schools.
Ban schools.
Yep.
Everyone
But anyway,
always has holidays.
There hasn't been a shooting in Australia for 20 years. that's
None of us go to school. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
we're a
yeah,
little-
exactly. But anyway, like enough. Sorry.
So I was
no,
gonna say,
exactly.
just don't you feel like Australians are always like kind of a little smug when the shit goes on in America?
Oh, 100%, because
Aren't we
we're
always
a
just
colony,
kind of, like,
we're a
chest down at
colony
this
of
point?
convicts, and everyone's like, oh, Australia's so backwards in so many ways, but then the whole gun, like, and it's happening so regularly. This is the second month in 2018, and there's already been 14 different school shootings. I think it's possibly more.
Don't get me wrong, it's awful shit.
It's the 14th.
It's,
100%.
It's the 14th, and
Just this year.
just
yeah.
this year.
it's
Yeah.
fucking awful. But there's just like, I feel like just a glaze of like, I told you so.
Yeah,
Just
100%.
goes across every Australian
100%.
whenever there's one of these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if you don't know, like there was one really terrible shooting in Australia.
Port Arthur massacre. Yeah.
Port Arthur massacre. I won't go into the details. Look it up if it fascinates you. But after that, it was a gun buyback system or something.
An amnesty. So
Yeah.
like basically they
Everyone
said,
just gave up
we're
their
gonna make
guns."
guns like far more regulated. Like you may get charged if you have a gun and you like shouldn't after
Yeah.
this. So if you want to bring them in, we'll buy them off you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did. They
Yeah.
just did.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and we have not had a school shooting. Like nothing. Stuff still goes wrongs in our school. We're not a perfect system, but that's a system that doesn't exist and that doesn't happen in Australia.
Yeah.
And then like, there's your answer. People keep saying and making excuses so they can snuggle their rifles at night. But there's an answer to this solution, and it starts with the people as well. Like people
absolutely.
make the argument, oh blah blah, this and that. They can get them through other sources or from the other side of the border. Sure, it's not meaning that police are going to be less armed. It just means this individual tragedy can't continue to happen.
Yeah.
It's not random gangbangers that are coming in and shooting up schools or anything like that. It's kids who go to that school, take the guns away from the mass public, then or heavily screen for mental illness checks. because this is my last point I'm going to make on this. In America, there's like the national system that people can get background checked on, but that doesn't apply to state checks or state felonies, which a lot of felonies are. They're state to state based. So Virginia Tech killer, he would have come up on the national one, but a statewide check.
He did
nothing.
Yep.
And in some states, it's illegal to have a state register of guns that exist in that state. So your point of, whatever racial minority bringing them in, there's already an unknown amount of guns in your community to the public eye. There could be caches and stockpiles of guns in certain communities and no one would know about it. And that's just ominous within itself.
Just to also quickly tear that whole argument apart as well. About 86%, I think it was from the article I read, of all guns, in inverted commas, smuggled in over US borders originally came from the US itself.
Exactly. That and there's no checks required on private sales.
Yeah. So anyway, there's been so much said on that. I think the answer is really obvious, but I think it's a damn shame that you're sacrificing the youth of your particular nation. America, I'm speaking to you as general. I know this isn't... I'm generalizing a lot, and it's a completely different culture, but it's a pretty obvious solution.
Yeah, would it be worth just trying?
Just giving it a go.
Giving it a red hot crack.
And not only that, but you know the worst thing as well? For any Americans listening to you, and I'm sorry if you don't know this, but the most common reaction to hearing about another school shooting or another mass shooting somewhere in America is, oh Christ, another one.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting real hard to feel sympathetic to a nation that's not really willing to help themselves. And I know that sounds incredibly callous, but
what can we even do as a country anyhow?
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to listen to us.
No.
Anyway, on to a bit of happier stuff. Mm-hmm. So you know how much we all love loot boxes. And how great they are.
I actually really like them. But anyways, that's...
They can be used well. They are a bit dodgy though. And some state lawmakers in Hawaii have, as promised 2 months ago, introduced 4 bills that would regulate the sale of video games that feature so-called loot boxes or loot crates as part of their gameplay. So I'm talking, Battlefront 2,
Overwatch.
Shadows of War, Overwatch, all sorts of things like that. A couple of the bills in Hawaii's State House and the Senate would prohibit sales of loot box games to consumers younger than 21 years of age. So essentially saying that these loot boxes are gambling. ESRB has previously said it doesn't consider loot boxes gambling, but a day after that, another senator in New Hampshire essentially said, no, ESRB, you need to reevaluate your policies. This is the purest definition of gambling. And considering how easy it is to buy X amount of loot boxes for X amount of money that just immediately comes out of an account with 2 button presses.
Yeah.
Like if you've got your card hooked up to...
If you're 16 and you got your parents' card hooked up.
Exactly. And
it's so easy to ring up bills.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's happened so many times.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. But, and with how easy that is and how nothing that means to the person pressing the button more often than not, that stacks up over time very quickly as well.
Exactly.
So, just going to go on a bit of a tangent in terms of things that you can spend needless amounts of money on. There's a website now where you can play UFO catchers in Japan over the internet.
Excuse me?
So, you pick the prize you want to play for on this website.
So like the claw game things.
Yeah.
I was confused by what you meant by UFO catchers. I thought you meant we're going to hunt some aliens.
No.
Yeah,
claw game.
You can play it.
So you can pick the prize you want to get.
Yeah.
And then it will literally show you a camera pointed at this machine. And then with your mouse, you spend real money to play this machine with your mouse and move it to the left. And then it'll cut to a camera angle on the side of the machine. And you can move it depth-wise, and whatever you win on this machine, they'll send to you.
What the fuck?
That's pretty cool.
You can win yakitori grills and shit on this thing. It's unbelievable.
That's very cool.
It's so weird though. I feel like I could spend far too much money.
Yeah.
Trying to win body pillows and
stuff. But yeah, so essentially, I think. With all this news overall, the whole not selling it to people under 21 years of age, yeah, I can agree with that. But also, parents are still going to buy their kids fucking games regardless of what their rating is, just because their parents want to shut their kids up.
Yeah.
I mean, you've worked in video game retail. We've all spent plenty of time in video game stores to have seen this before, or even movie rental things. You know, when you want to rent a game or rent a movie, but it's rated too high, and so you ask mum to get it for you, and then you watch it, and you're like, yeah, that probably was a bad choice, but here we are.
This is.
I feel like this has scarred me for life, but I wanted it. So.
But whatever, it's my fault.
I get what you're saying, definitely, and a shitty bratty kid with bad parents will still get what he wants, or what they want. It doesn't even have to be a he. But I think it's a little apples and oranges to the loot box system. Now let's just consider a hypothetical, very hyperbolic situation where you bought Shadow of War, but the game could exist. 100% of the game is what you can unlock with all of the loot boxes, and you pay $150 and you get $100, which is the game, and $50, which is loot boxes, and that's all you could get. You couldn't buy more, and you and your best friend bought it. Say he gets 75% of the game and you get 60% of the game, and you couldn't buy any more. That's a gamble that you're throwing at that money. You're paying $150 for a chance at something, and there's odds that you could get 51%, you could get 99% of the game, depending on the RNG of it, theoretically. So in that regards, it's paying for a chance at something, whether you might, with the understanding that you might get nothing, because gambling as an addiction psychologically, it's the stakes of something. Like if you've got someone who is a high roller, to them $100,000 might not be a big bet. That might be a standard bet if they're a high roller. But someone who spends $60 on seasonal loot boxes at Overwatch, that $60 might mean a lot to them. That might be their leisure for the week. And it's what you're sacrificing, and the gambit you're going into is a lot more than just the tangibility of the rare loot that you get from it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
And the thing is, as soon as you pay for the loot boxes, the items you get have like a monetary value. Yeah. Either way, right? So it's essentially gambling in that you can get the same thing again, which all of a sudden has zero monetary value. For the money that you've put in to get it, right? Exactly. As opposed to rare things that would probably cost more and therefore have like a higher monetary value.
Yeah. If you equate the term time as money to Overwatch, the time it would take to grind a 3,000 seasonal skin that you've only got 4 weeks to pay for, but you have a higher chance of getting, or more likelihood of getting, through the loot boxes, it seems very appealing and easy to jump at that sort of, I don't have time. I've been playing Overwatch a lot lately, and I've only gotten 300 credits, and I need another 600 more to get the Genji skin. I'm probably going to buy some loot boxes. That sort of interaction of I want, I need, I acquire, that can't be so viscerally attainable. It needs to be regulated. It's so easily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's essentially what all these bills are saying.
Yeah.
They're going into the psychology of they're going into the psychology of gambling, all that sort of stuff we've just talked about. And essentially, you got to remember as well, these are kids. So like, gambling is destructive at best, anyways. So like,
see, my mind's now racing with like ways I can personally make money out of this. like Chinese basement loot box den. Like it's,
you got the craps table.
A Vietnamese man with an eye patch, like looking for rares, like
it's like shilling for gold.
Yeah. So but I think it's good, and if it's something that kind of makes game companies move away from loot boxes as well, I'm all for that also. Because I'm kind of done with the whole...
I think anything that moves back towards just making games a like self-contained
game
piece.
Yeah.
There's too much...
I get DLC. DLC is good, but it needs to be added onto a complete game.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Well,
absolutely.
I can't remember. I think it was Sea of Thieves, which is coming out full version soon.
A fucking spectacular game if there ever was one.
Oh yes, that will be a
Yeah, I
spectacular
saw something on that
game.
recently.
It's
as well.
basically Black Flag without.
It's
assassin's
essentially impossible to play without role-playing, me lad.
Yeah, yeah.
first-person pirate game. Why would you not?
Exactly. Developers of that game have said there will be not even a whiff of a loot box in that game.
Yeah,
So
good,
it's all how much
yeah,
you
because
play.
it's rare, isn't it?
Oh, it could.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's rare, and that's right. That's what I read. There's only going to be 4 boat classes, I think.
Can we please play it for the channel? It looks like so much fucking
Oh, hell
fun.
yeah.
Oh,
I
we
wanna
are
play
1,000%. We should.
yeah.
We should figure out a way so we could all play one of you. Shotgun, not the poop deck.
I love it up the poop deck.
You love it up the poop deck.
I love it up the poop deck.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we got time for this evening.
Just quick last
yeah,
couple
final
shout outs
thoughts,
to
final
gaming
thoughts.
community as well. Super Mario speedrunners, you crazy motherfuckers. You keep getting faster and faster and faster. It's under 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Good on you.
Yeah.
Shine on you, crazy diamonds.
Last I saw was like 5 minutes 30 or something on a video.
It's so much quicker than that now.
What, like at least 45 seconds off that now? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like 4 minutes 54.
That's
or
so
less.
bonkers, dude.
Yeah. I'll actually get up the final time real quick. And last thing that I want to mention as well is a game called Joy Expression. It's like a paintball Joy Exhibition. Sorry.
And what's Joy Exhibition about, me lad? I've decided this is pretty much a thing I'm going to do for the rest of the cast.
Oh, that's fine. It's a free
All 3 minutes of it.
It's a freeform art game in which the player must communicate with a mute alien race by painting.
Oh.
And you get procedurally generated style paint guns that interact with the screen in different ways and make your own little art pieces. That's pretty cool. But the fastest speedrun time is 4 minutes 56 seconds. 0.462 seconds, which is still mighty quick. That's like
I wonder what the
quicker
skip
than it
was,
takes
though.
me to take a shit.
Yeah, I've taken a lot longer shits than that.
Yeah.
But anyways, now that you know the length of my shits in time, not literal length, that's next week.
Hey,
3 crew guns.
before we sign off, we got some new stuff coming out
We do.
next week.
We
We've
do.
got trying to get the PALcast out Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday is your PALcast day, my boy.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And then Friday we've got some anger management coming up. Friday, anger management, baby. That'll be every Friday. Anger management.
Every Friday from now on will be anger management.
Just for you, baby.
Just fucking Friday me, baby.
And then Mondays, Aaron and I have been playing a bit of Shadow of the Colossus. So we'll
Yes.
get a bit of that for you. So
We'll be starting a new segment then. What does that mean? We'll be starting. We play with each other.
Yeah, I guess we
yeah.
will be.
diddle diddle. Well, I was thinking maybe also boys play.
Boys.
Look, these are working titles, and I love all of them so far. So
Yeah.
yes.
So
And you know what,
eventually
guys?
the
You know what,
goals.
guys? I love those working titles, but I love you guys as well.
I love you too.
So eventually the goal will be try and get a little bit of us into your life, like
Yeah.
every day. Eventually.
Just get all into your orifices. Just.
All right. Well, while Aaron takes the microphone to his room, we're gonna get out of here. Bye, everybody.
Ooh, baby, I'm hot just like an oven.
I think it's time
I
we throw him
need
in the
some
bilge.
loving.
Kill all him.
Ooh,
Make him
baby,
and his plank walk the plank.
I'm hot just like an oven. Bye, guys.
Gentlemen,
Three
assume
in
the
attendance.
position.
And the 10s watching at home. Oh.
6 of whom are
Let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, tail of the tape in this light heavyweight bout.